I'd like to call to order the Sullivan County Resort Facility Local Development Corporation. Julio, roll call.
Sure, Mr. Siegel.
Present.
Mr. Siegel's present, Ms. Lar.
Present.
Ms. Lar is present, Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Smith is present, Mr. Gunther.
Here telephonically.
Mr. Gunther is present, Ms. Valone, Mr. Valone.
Yep.
Mr. Valone is present, Mr. Steingart.
Here.
Mr. Steingart is present, Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Mr. Brooks is present, Mr. Sykes.
Yeah.
Mr. Sykes is present, and Mr. Perrello is absent today.
Okay, so before approval of the meeting minutes? Or after?
No, meeting minutes first.
Right, that's what I thought. So has everyone had a chance? Our September 8th was our last special meeting. And we have meeting minutes that are out. Any thoughts or comments on those?
Motion approved.
Okay, Phil,
I'll second.
Ira second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, that's carried. We need to go into executive session for the reason. Jen?
Same
To
reason.
discuss the financial history of a particular corporation. To discuss the financial history of a particular corporation.
We have lots to chat about after, so I'd come back.
Oh, yeah, do we have the motion in the second? Just
We did. Sean did and Phil did.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion and a second to exit.
He had it.
You did, okay.
Motion to come out with Sean and who? Ed.
Go to the bathroom real quick.
You can if you want.
Is there a bathroom in there?
I don't think in Andy's, there's one in the hallway though.
No, in the hall, you need a key and it's,
No, you-
I'll
do it back
that'll
to the
just
door.
expedite things, truthfully. I'm okay. I'm old, my bladder doesn't exist like it.
You're in the
used
same
to.
boat. Tell me about it.
Okay, we're out of executive session and before, in accordance with our accommodation, even though we may discuss it futuristically, what?
She's gonna update everybody on the status
Right.
before we have public comment.
Okay. So again, update us on the status.
So with respect to the bond issue proposed to benefit the Resorts World Catskills Company. Just as we were meeting, I got an email and I'll read it to you. It's from Walter Bogomil, who is the CFO of Resorts World and Genting Americas. He says, I want to inform you that Resorts World Catskills received notice early last week that Genting Malaysia, the parent company of Empire Resorts, has received a public share tender for all outstanding shares from its 49.36% owner, Genting Berhad. Under the rules in Malaysia, the stock was halted for trading and Genting Malaysia and its subsidiaries are unable to enter into any material transaction. In light of this offer and the uncertainty to close, we are asking the LDC to suspend work on the proposed bond issue. We anticipate that this process should conclude no later than the first week of January 2026. We understand that the LDC has some ongoing costs associated with maintaining its existence. Resorts World Catskills is willing to pay for in order to facilitate the LDC remaining available to consider a future bond issue. Resorts World Catskills is grateful to the LDC for the accommodations and efforts to date. If there are any questions I can answer, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. That came in around 11:30 this morning.
Okay,
Who sent that now?
Walter Bogomil, the CFO for Resorts World.
he's also the CFO for all of the casinos in the Genting Malaysia group. Which
All
is
of their
underneath the
US.
parents, all the US,
Yes.
which has a 51% interest. 49 is the parent that made the tender offer to buy the US interest.
Where is he located? He works out of their New York City office, Paul, where they have, he's the CFO of Resort World Catskills, which is in a different part on the org chart of Genting globally than their casinos in Bimini and Las Vegas and New York City. But he's the CFO for all of their US operations.
Okay, so before we dig into paying our bills, et cetera, the opportunity for listening to whatever you thought you have been thoughts is now. Anybody have public comment?
Yes. My name is David Brittingham. I'm a resident and taxpayer here in the county. My comments concern the Resorts World deal. It is helpful to hear, I think for the first time, what the actual status is of the bond deal. It would be very helpful if the LDC was more forthcoming with the public on a current basis about its activities, about the transaction, and about the financing. The expenses that were posted on Friday and last July are eye-opening. The LDC's bond counsel, Harris Beach, submitted bills totaling $750,000. It's a lot of money, but it might be reasonable if that was the only legal bill, but it's not. Walter Garigliano has submitted bills totaling $375,000. That's half of what Harris Beach written up. And the work is not described in the public record, nor is it the public record to contain any indication of whether there was any other lawyer considered for the work. In addition, Barbara Garigliano submitted bills totaling $135,000. All told, the LDC has been billed $1.26 million for legal work on a bond deal that we have just learned may or may not actually happen. Now, from what we've just heard, maybe that's all going to get paid by Genting. I don't know.
So I'm not cutting you short, but I think that there's some, if I can wrap some clarity around
That
this.
would be helpful.
Our ability to present certain types of information, because this is a public bond offering, our hands are tied to some extent. But to the extent that you understand that Resorts World has paid us as we've gone along to pay the people that we've hired, they pay the people that they hired directly, but the people that we have engaged to protect us are paid in advance. We're paid in advance. So that money we already have, and that's what we're gonna approve today. They want to finish up because they're not so sure based on what's happening that this will ever come to be. Some of the expenses that we have incurred in here are to protect the LLC, which protects the county, which is all paid for. The LLC has no money. The IDA has forwarded no money. Every dollar that has been paid is a request of Resorts World for us to engage in the things that we want to make sure we protect ourselves with, and that they put together for their professionals for them. And so we're only responsible to make sure that if we did this, the LDC was protected. There's no tax implication, there's no default, there's nothing. So when we say pass through, everybody tells me you can't say pass through, but it is at their request. But the professionals we hired, the ones that I engaged as Walter, there were hundreds and hundreds of documents that had to be gone through from $1,000 law firms that were presented to us. And I would not sign a POS, 1,100-page POS, unless every document was correct. And I had to sign it 3 times with the SEC. I am not going to put myself as the chairman or as an individual. Okay, the D&O was to protect us. And truthfully, the insurance, because I'm forwarded all of these things. I don't work, I'm a retired guy, okay? So there are no conflicts of interest. We got a $50,000 request for a proposal to review all the insurances so that if the LDC, because they're all with Marsh & McLennan, largest broker in the world for resorts, If the LDC inherited all these properties, I wanted to make sure, unfortunately, that our insurance protected us in every form or fashion. So we sent out a request for proposal from a high-end Long Island law firm, not crazy, not law firm, but consulting firm, and came back with a $50,000 premium. And I twisted the arm of a company that I owned and haven't owned for 7 or 8 years. Would they do the work for less? Because I know their risk management, even though it has my name on it. That's because 45 years of goodwill, they wanted to keep my name on it. It's a public company. So they have rules and regulations. They did it for 26,000, and in the end, we're only paying 24,300. But I have no choice to that. I don't want them to get the whole amount of money. Nobody that's getting paid here to shut this down is being paid in full. But they're done.
No one's getting paid by the taxpayers.
Not one
Yeah.
taxpayer dollar and not one to be paid. We have the money. We would not go forward without having the money.
That's helpful to hear. The thing that I'd like to communicate, though, is that reading your minutes, you get nothing of that. Every substantive discussion of this transaction was done in executive session. Then you come out of executive session and you pass resolutions. There's nothing in the record that helps the public understand the transaction and its rationale. I had to spend a freaking week reading all the documents, to come up with a memo that I could send out to people to explain this transaction. Why? Because there's no FAQ on your website. There still isn't anything. I've also looked at the bond offering documents, so I understand there's a lot there.
It's a very complicated deal, and I'm only one vote and chairman here, and I will say that to a large extent, our hands are tied on a lot of stuff because of the nature of it and everything. Could we have done a better job? You could always do a better job in life. There's always room to grow, even at my age. But at this point in time, what you've heard today is absolute and what we're allowed to say. And so I hope it's enough. If not, we're here once a month and welcome you to come back. Ken comes on a regular basis. Every time he comes, I'm a little shorter, but I grow the next month, so we're good.
The other thing that I want to make sure everybody understands is, unlike some of the prior bond transactions that we have done through the IDA and LDCs, which were private placements, this bond transaction was a public offering, subject to the rules of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And if I had known, David, that you were struggling to understand it, there was about a 25-page executive summary in the preliminary official statement, which would have,
I've read it.
okay,
It took me a while to access that, and it wasn't available when I was putting together.
the preliminary official statement is, the preliminary official statement under SEC rules is supposed to contain 100% of the information about the transaction. There's not supposed to be an FAQ. There's not supposed to be some side memo that you give to one potential investor or another. This is a public offering. This is like buying IBM stock.
The FAQ that I think you should have done and did not do is one for the public. This is an incredibly complicated, high risk, highly speculative transaction. $585 million is a boatload of money for this county. And I don't care that it's non-recourse to the public taxpayer. If that bond deal defaults, it is going to be a bad event for this county. The minimum that should have been done is there should have been an FAQ on your website explaining to the public what was being done and why. And I do think you could have done that consistent with the securities laws.
Okay,
There's plenty of, media coverage.
we appreciate the comments. I don't want to make this much more painful than it's been over the last 6 months. So is there anything else? And I'm not
No.
cutting you short, but
Okay.
We could have done an FAQ. It would have had to been an additional whatever many pages in the POS. Whatever information is out there has to be in the preliminary official statement. So I'm not saying we couldn't do an FAQ. I don't want you to say that I said that. We could have, but it would have to been in the POS, and it would have to been signed off on by Resort World lawyers, by Underwriters Council. It's just not usual in a public transaction. You try to put all the information in the preliminary official statement.
I don't wanna go back and forth, so you know, in all fairness to wanting to end this thing on a positive note. Because there's nothing negative in my opinion, I've spent a lot of time on this and really as a public servant that gets paid nothing. I had extra protections that Resorts World paid to make sure we were protected a particular way. And so that added to a little bit of their expense, but I thought it was necessary. That could have been a good judgment or a bad judgment. But it allows me to sleep at night. I had to sign that 1,100-page thing 3 times.
The only other thing I'll add is, it's extremely troubling to me and many others that a transaction of this magnitude could take place without legislative oversight, without public input. No public input. And in my opinion, and I know I'm not alone, it seems to me the IDA needs to be supervised a lot more closely by the county and maybe by the state to make sure things like this do not happen again. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else like to speak?
Yeah. Yeah, hi, I'm Christopher Fry. I grew up in Berryville. I live in Albany now. And this new event right here, this new news, still there's some entity that's going to deal with this asset at some point, no matter what that entity is going to be developed. And my interest has been the developable land that's there at Resort World, all around the golf course, everything else. What's going to happen to it? So my question very simply, no matter who does it, does the IDA have any input in what they do and how they decide to create real estate products or whatever? Do you have any input in that at all?
I can answer. There's 66 parcels of land that comprise that campus. 4 of those parcels of land have been leased for 70 years by the owner to Resort World entities. 2 of them are the casino parcel. 1 is where all their hotel is. 1 is the golf course. The other 62 are owned by a real estate investment trust in Kansas City. They're the owner. They get to decide what to do with it. We don't have input. It's owned by a publicly traded REIT called Entertainment
Properties
Trust. EPR Resorts, actually, they changed their name recently. So we don't have any input. We have transactions in place involving those 62 parcels, which would make it more likely for them to develop those properties, but we have no input.
Ken?
Totally opposite. Video conferencing. We developed a policy. No mention of it in your agendas. Supposed to mention it. Supposed to have a link. If there's extenuating circumstances. Supposed to be mentioned. Under that is also when you have extenuating circumstances, you also open it up to the point that anybody who is watching it should have been live streamed. And come on board and also participate in public comment. So main thing is you did not mention it.
I want to clarify, we are only obligated to mention it and would only mention it if someone had extenuating circumstances and planned to vote remotely.
Okay, but also if you're going back to the other part of video conferencing, it's still supposed to be mentioned. So people can go and participate. It's supposed to be at a public location where people can go or go to their house. Technically, they go to their house.
I'm not going to debate it with you, but I'll send you the law. It's only if somebody's going to vote remotely, and it's only if there's extenuating circumstances and there weren't.
Does anybody else have comment? I need a motion to adjourn.
No, you don't.
No,
Pay
we have to-
bills.
Oh,
We have to approve the bill.
I got so excited listening.
That's what happens when you switch when the public.
Okay,
Well, you get used to it.
so Jen, bills and communications,
Sounds like a good idea at the time.
what? To review.
$47,011.81, and a large portion of these bills are passed through.
Okay, I need a motion to accept them. We've discussed them ad nauseam.
I'll make it.
Scott, second.
I'll second it.
Ira, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I don't think we have any other business, do we?
The budget,
Budget separately.
Okay, so I need a motion to discuss the budget,
motion to approve the budget.
approve the budget.
Make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, that's carried. Now can I get to my adjournment?
Yes.
Okay, Sean and Scott.
All right, productive day.
Yeah.
Sister would briefly in elementary school.